Remember, as the draft dawned, the last couple days before the draft, there were rumors that the Browns were not going to take Myles Garrett at number 1. They were going to take Mitch Trubisky, the kid from Mentor. And it just seemed odd to me because I thought for several weeks that the Browns were taking Garrett. Garrett was one of the few players you will see where old-time football coaches and scouts, the eye test, these guys got together and shook hands with the analytics guys with all their numbers and said, this is the best player, Myles Garrett. Not Mitchell Trubisky, not Solomon Thomas, not anybody else. This is your guy by far. So it just seemed like the Browns would take him. And then there were the Trubisky rumors. Now, part of the rumors were true. The Browns were trying to figure out could they trade up with their 12th pick to get him, but they never had any intention of taking him at number 1. I always believed that, and now, kind of backing that up, Peter King, a Monday morning quarterback, Peter King was in the San Francisco draft room. San Francisco had the number 2 pick. So the night before, San Francisco got a call from John Elway. Elway runs the Denver Broncos. Elway said, I hear the Browns are taking Trubisky. The 49ers said, we hear this too. They also said, this is just odd. It doesn't make any sense. And then suddenly, afterwards, the 49ers put their heads together and realized the Browns wanted that out because they wanted somebody to trade up, perhaps San Francisco, to take him, and they could get Myles Garrett at number 2. And some picks. Because they just said, you know, we're taking Garrett, but if we could fool some people, maybe this will work in our favor. Meanwhile, San Francisco, by the way, was going to take Garrett if he had fallen to number 2. They were not going to let that pass. They had Garrett number 1 on their draft board. So in the end, that kind of explained the whole thing. What I really like is the Browns got to where they ought to be. They got there with Myles Garrett. You know, the 12th pick, they turned around and they did not take Deshaun Watson. I was okay with that, especially as we see how the rest of the draft unfolded. But the main thing here was the Browns actually didn't lose sight of the main thing. You could say maybe they tried to outsmart themselves a little bit, but putting out kind of rumors and things is what teams do right before the draft. Meanwhile, I feel for Mitchell Trubisky, who ends up going to the Chicago Bears. The Bears traded with San Francisco. They went from number 3 to number 2. And, you know, poor Trubisky, he's at the Bulls game. They put a picture of him up on the scoreboard. The fans in Chicago are booing. And then when they realized he was there was more cheers, but it's like the fans in Chicago didn't like the trade. So, you know, like Trubisky's got to be saying, like, I have a lot to say about this, where I'm going to go. So anyway, hopefully they'll be fair to the local kid from here in Chicago. Meanwhile, the Browns got Myles Garrett, and I'm pleased about that. And all rumors and smoke were just that, a bunch of smoke.